Chapter 1858. The floor of South Hill Manor's dining room was made of marble. Pudding was still young, so she didn't use much strength when she fell. Therefore only the screen was broken. However, Huamin was an adult, so the foam was completely broken. Little Bean was so scared that she almost spilled her milk. Pudding was finally intimidated by her mother's imposing manner. Perhaps it was because she was frightened and she burst into tears. "Don't just cry. You threw a tantrum just now and broke the phone Mommy gave you. I told you to pick it up, but you didn't want to. I asked you if you wanted to fix it, but you didn't answer. Qin Zhaozhao, you're only 3 years old. You don't have the ability to make money yet. Everything you eat and use belongs to Mommy and Daddy. You can be angry, but you have to change your bad habit of throwing things around. We don't allow children with princess syndrome in our family." "Who said I don't have money? I have stocks." Pudding didn't want to admit defeat as she yelled at Huamin. "Then let me ask you, who gave you the money in the stocks?" "I can pay you back the money, but I earned the rest," Pudding argued. "Really? Skid. Then if you pay me back the money you earned, you can leave home and live on your own. You're so smart, you're a genius. You don't need Mommy, Daddy, Little Bean, a nanny, a chauffeur, or a housekeeper. You can go out on your own." "Mommy, don't kick big sister out." Little Bean burst into tears when she heard that things were getting out of hand. Although she often bickered with Pudding, she still liked her sister. She knew that although Pudding was arrogant and cold, she was very kind and treated her well. She would always share good food with Pudding. Hearing Mommy's heartless words, Pudding couldn't stop her tears from flowing out. Her tears were like a flood. She cried so sadly. Even the housekeeper, Uncle Lee, couldn't stand it anymore. He walked over and said, "A young lady, Little Bean is still young. Uncle Lee, I don't want anyone to interfere when I discipline my daughter." Huamin's cold words shut Uncle Lee up, "So you can make a choice. If you think you're good enough, you can leave home, or you can go to the warehouse and reflect on your mistakes. Think about what you did wrong. That's it. I have a meeting at the company later." After speaking, Huamin stood up. "Wifey, hubby, come with me to the company. It just so happens that there's something I need to deal with in the company." Qin Chu wanted to say that he wanted to stay at home with his daughter. However, when he saw the look in Huamin's eyes, he didn't dare to say anything. He knew that Huamin must have her own ideas. Little Bean was too scared to cry anymore. Pudding turned around and obediently went into a small warehouse on the first floor. That was the place where the family stored their sundries. It was only 28 square meters and the windows were very small. It was similar to a prison. Huamin rarely used this place. This time it was Pudding who had completely angered her. After Pudding entered the room, she locked the door. Then the sound of her crying could be heard intermittently. "Mian, what are you doing? He's still young." When Yang Merong came downstairs and saw this, she immediately scolded her daughter. "It's because she's young that she needs to be educated. Otherwise, when she grows up, I won't be able to control her anymore." Huamin's face was cold from beginning to end. Then she picked up her bag and walked out. Qin Chu quietly followed behind her. Little Bean was too scared to beg for mercy. She could only hold her grandmother's hand and watch her parents leave the house. Say, "That damn girl. Why is she like this?" After Huamin left, Yang Merong held Little Bean's hand and walked to the door of the small warehouse. "Pudding, it's your grandmother. Open the door, your mom's already gone. Don't listen to her nonsense about reflecting on your mistakes." Chapter 1859. "Grandma, you guys should go. I want to be alone for a while." "Why are you so stubborn? You're just like your mom when she was young." "Seriously, Grandma, that's how Pudding is. Let's wait for her to think things through. She'll come out on her own." In the Audi R8, Qin Chu looked at Huamin as he drove. She seemed to be in a bad mood. "Honey, aren't you a bit too strict with Pudding? Don't you think she's been in a bad mood lately? He cares a lot about Siyu. But it's understandable. After all, Siyu has been so good to her and her sister over the years. It's understandable that she doesn't like Jian Tong. It's understandable that she doesn't like Jian Tong. But who would see her throwing a tantrum at home?" Huamin asked. "You're an adult and she's still a kid. Honey, don't always use the word child as an excuse. Spoiling a child is equivalent to killing a child. A loving mother will spoil a child. I don't want my daughters to be arrogant and bossy in society. I don't want everything to go according to their wishes. There are too many things in this world that you can't get and too many things that don't go your way. Qin Chu reached out his hand and gently stroked Huamin's pretty face. Honey, thank you for your hard work. It's not easy to give birth to a child, and it's even harder to raise a child. I'll slowly educate our daughters with you. It's not hard at all. I just want them to be safe and healthy when they grow up. I just want them to be docile. Honey, you're right. Honey, was I too fierce just now? Did I scare you? Huamin looked at Qin Chu embarrassedly. You didn't scare me, but I'm worried that our daughters will be traumatized. They won't. Don't worry, they can take it very well. Pudding isn't as docile as Little Bean. She's cold and stubborn, especially when it comes to Suyu. I'll take the opportunity to teach her a lesson. She'll be fine. Okay. Qin Chu felt helpless. What kind of expression is that? Why do I feel that someone is only worried about his daughter and not his wife? Nonsense, how could that be? My wife is always the most important. Qin Chu pursed his lips and smiled. Huamin nodded in satisfaction and let him go. Qin Chu hadn't gone to GK since his return. It wasn't because he didn't want to deal with it, but because he believed that Huamin would handle it well. Plus, he was now the president of GK's headquarters in the United States, so it would be too low of him to be in charge of domestic business. This was his first time here, and as soon as he walked in, GK went into an uproar. President Qin, you're back? Heavens. Good evening, President Qin. Oh no, good morning. Some employees were so surprised that they couldn't speak coherently. Qin Chu and Huamin held hands and made a high-profile appearance at GK headquarters. Their presence overwhelmed the gossip about Suyu's relationship. All of the employees wanted to see President Qin's face. Yang was so excited that he hugged Qin Chu. President Qin, you're finally back. Don't hug like that, it's weird for two grown men to act like this. Yeah, we can't get too close or else there'll be rumors. Yang smiled with tears in his eyes. President Qin, you're finally back, that's great. Bella was also excited. Wow, brother-in-law is back. See you in the morning. Jixin patted Qin Chu's shoulder excitedly. They had to prepare for the new quarter's jewelry release, so even though it was the weekend, everyone was working overtime. Huamin and Qin Chu were just about to go in with their documents when, suddenly, she received a phone call. She looked down at her phone and saw that it was Huasiqian calling. She immediately hung up, but her phone rang again. Huamin couldn't take it anymore and picked up. What do you want? Me. We're in big trouble, Huasiqian said in a strange tone. Chapter 1860. Huasiqian, don't try to be mysterious. Huamin scolded with a cold expression. Mion, you don't believe me? Huasiqian seemed a little disappointed. His relationship with Huamin was at its lowest point in history. Not only could he not get close to her, but he also couldn't get close to her. Huamin wouldn't even believe anything he said, which showed just how evil he was. The warm times when he and Huamin used to eat face to face were gone. Huasiqian's heart ached every time he thought about it. Why should I believe you? You're my enemy, Huamin said righteously. Me. That's how you see me. In my heart I'll never oppose you. You'll never be my enemy. Mion, I'm not trying to mystify you or scare you. We're really in trouble. You'll find out soon anyway. Anyway, be careful for now, especially the twins. If you dare to touch my daughters, I'll kill you. Huamin thought Huasiqian was going to threaten him with his daughters. It's not me. I'm not going to touch your daughters, I just think you might have a lot of enemies. Anyways, be careful. That's all. Then, before Huamin could say anything, Huasiqian hung up the phone. What's up? Qin Chu heard Huamin mention Huasiqian's name, so he was worried that Huamin was up to something again. It's fine, he's crazy. Huamin helplessly put away his phone. Then he followed Qin Chu into the conference room. Qin Chu's return greatly boosted GK's morale, and many of the executives were excited. Huamin and Qin Chu sat side by side in the president's seat. It was the first time the couple had a morning meeting together, and it felt quite special. During the meeting, Huamin noticed that Jixin was distracted. He seemed to have something on his mind. The secretary beside him reminded him many times, but he still refused to change. Director Jing, Huamin called out in front of everyone. President Hua, you called for me? Jing Jixin finally came back to his senses. What do you think of the new proposal proposed by Director Wang? Huamin asked deliberately. Then she saw Jixin's dumbfounded expression. He was distracted and didn't pay attention, so he didn't know what the new plan was. Jing Zixin was a little embarrassed. He lowered his head and didn't dare to say anything. Did you not sleep well last night? Humin asked. No. I slept very well. Then why are you spacing out? This is a morning meeting. This is not your personal time. Please adjust your state of mind as soon as possible and don't affect others, okay? Okay. Zixin felt guilty. He felt like he had let his sister down in front of so many people. Okay, then sit down. Let's continue. Humin's tone was extremely formal. He didn't show any mercy when he lectured her brother. She didn't want to cause Zixin to be distracted because of her. That would be really embarrassing. After the morning meeting, the two returned to the office. Humin noticed that Mr. Qin seemed to have something on his mind. He seemed a little restless. Honey, yeah? Something's on your mind. No, I don't believe you. Oi. Honey, I'm a little worried about Pudding. She's alone in a small storage unit. Is she scared? Mr. Qin finally told the truth. Peach, so you're worried about your daughter. Humin pretended to be jealous. Hey, what are you talking about? Isn't she your daughter? Mr. Qin felt wronged. Chapter 1861. Trust me, she'll be fine. Your eldest daughter is even more arrogant than you. If you don't teach her a lesson, she won't know how to control herself. But she'll be fine. Don't worry. I hope she'll be fine. But I still think that I should comfort Pudding when I go home. She's still young and I'm worried that you scared her today. Qin Chu was full of fatherly love. When he saw his two daughters, he felt a strong sense of fatherly responsibility. Therefore, when Humin's mind was on work, Qin Chu was thinking about whether his daughter was crying at home or if her emotions had calmed down. Moreover, he had just called Uncle Li in the pantry and secretly asked about the situation. Uncle Li's answer was that Pudding was still in the small storage unit and no one knew the details. Hearing this, Qin Chu was even more anxious. He really wanted to drive home and check on the situation. He didn't want to scare the kids. However, Humin was so confident that nothing would happen to him. Therefore, Mr. Qin was conflicted and felt uneasy just now. President Hua, these are the documents that need your signature. Please take a look. Bella put down the documents. Humin nodded and was about to take a look when Zixin walked in. President Hua, what's up? I'm sorry, I was distracted. I'll be more careful in the future. Please don't be mad at me. I'm not mad. I was just doing my job and scolded you in public. Humin looked up at his brother. Okay, I'm going out to work. Call me if you need me. Zixin and Bella walked out of the office together. President Hua won't be mad at you. He's just stating the facts. Don't be too sad, Bella comforted Zixin. I heard that it's your birthday soon. How did you know? Bella looked surprised. Someone in the office accidentally mentioned it and I overheard. Ever since I came to the company, you've helped me a lot. To show my gratitude, I'll treat you to dinner on your birthday. No, thank you for your kindness. My boyfriend will be coming back from overseas on my birthday. Bella's face was filled with happiness. Does he have a boyfriend? I thought. Zixin was a little surprised. Why do you think? Bella chuckled. I thought. I've never seen a man pick you up, so I thought you were single. Zixin looked a little disappointed. My boyfriend is my university classmate. After graduation he moved to Tianhai. We've always been separated. Okay then. Zixin left in a daze. After Zixin graduated and came to GK, he didn't want to have a girlfriend. He just wanted to work hard to help his sister. Due to the tragedy with Huang Yu, he was now quite afraid of coming into contact with girls. Many girls in the company were very enthusiastic about Zixin. After all, he was President Hua's younger brother. Marrying Zixin was like marrying into a rich family. Plus, Zixin was young, handsome, talented, and had returned from overseas. Who wouldn't like him? Unfortunately, none of those girls could move him. Only the mature and steady Bella was able to move him. As Humin's assistant, Bella had a high status in the company. Her swift and decisive style and meticulous mind were praised by everyone in the company, as well as Humin's approval. Most importantly, Bella was very gentle. She was very nice to all her colleagues and didn't engage in office fights. This was what the simple-minded Zixin liked the most. This morning he was distracted during the meeting because he was thinking about what birthday present to buy for Bella. He originally wanted to wait for Bella's birthday and invite her to dinner alone to improve their relationship. However, he didn't expect her to have a boyfriend. Jishin felt like a bucket of cold water was poured over him. His heart instantly sank. Imperial Star headquarters. After their relationship was made public, the outside world was abuzz with rumors. The Su family expressed their dissatisfaction and Suyu was well aware of it. He didn't come home for dinner for the past 2 days. When his mother called, he gave her a perfunctory answer. Jian Tong, on the other hand, was still in the limelight. Because of her scandal, she once again appeared on the hot search list and occupied the front page of all the major media outlets. Wei Liao happened to have nothing to do today, so he drove directly to Imperial Star. President Su, President Wei is here, and came in to report. Chapter 1862. Tell him to come in. Tell the secretary to make 2 cups of coffee. Suyu put down his work and stood up. Amiman nodded. Wei Liao walked in with his car keys. What's going on, young Master Wei? You want to drink with me so early in the morning? Suyu smiled. I'm not in the mood for that. I've been so busy lately. Wei Yunchu has a fever and is in the hospital. Xiaowei and I are so tired. What's wrong with Yunchu? He caught a cold. His fever won't go down, so he's getting an injection at the hospital. It's not easy to raise a child. Suyu sighed. The secretary brought in 2 cups of coffee. Suyu and Wei Liao sat on the sofa and chatted leisurely. Where's young Master Tang these days? Did he go abroad to pick up girls again? Suyu was puzzled. No. The Tang family has been trying to impeach him and arrange for him to get married. He doesn't have time to come out. His father confiscated all 5 of his sports cars and froze all his bank cards. Damn, you're so serious. Young Master Tang's life is going to be interesting this time. Suyu smiled. What's going on with you? Wei Liao glanced at Suyu and asked. What are you talking about? Suyu pretended not to know. What do you think? Wei Liao rolled his eyes at him. My relationship being exposed? There's nothing to talk about. After all these years, don't you know me? Suyu smiled and leaned back heavily on the sofa behind him. You don't say. I really don't know you. What's going on in that head of yours? What's going on with Jian Tong? Even if you want to find someone to be cannon fodder, you shouldn't have asked her. Wei Liao was a little angry. Isn't it good to have my own employee? I don't have the patience to coax someone else. So you're doing this so that Huamin won't feel burdened and can live a happy life with Qin Chu and his family? Suyu was silent for a long time. In the end, he only replied with a soft Wei Liao was furious. Ridiculous. You can't sacrifice your own happiness just to fulfill Huamin's happiness. Suyu licked his dry lips and looked up at Wei Liao sadly. The moment I lost her, I no longer had any happiness to speak of. Wei Liao was stunned and he seemed to have never expected that Suyu would say this. No, you can't say that you lost her. If you never had her, how could you lose her? I'm really confused. Suyu smiled bitterly. Your feelings for Huamin. I really don't want to persuade you anymore. I watched you fall step by step with my own eyes, but I couldn't do anything to stop it. I'm sadder than you are. Huamin worked as a nurse at Southside, then became a doctor, then got married and had children. Now a few years have passed. Not only did you not wake up, but you've also become more and more poisoned. Once upon a time, I thought that Qin Chu was really dead and that he wouldn't come back and Huamin might be moved to be with you. But in the end, none of that happened. Perhaps it's cruel for you. But think about it, there's no such thing as fairness in the world. You're jealous that Huamin loves Qin Chu, and Qin Chu is jealous that you were able to accompany Huamin to get pregnant and have children. You're right. Qin Chu has too many worries and too many helplessness. He loves Huamian so much, but he still missed out on 11 years with her. If it were me, I wouldn't bear to leave her even if I were beaten to death, Suyu sighed. How can 2 people be the same? You can't say that Qin Chu doesn't love Huamian deeply just because he's bored. He and Huamian have been together since they were young, and their feelings for each other have far surpassed the feelings of a normal man and woman. It's like an unbreakable family. In a situation like this, you lost from the very beginning, so you shouldn't have any expectations for the future. You're right, I shouldn't have any wishful thinking. I'm the one who caused this situation. I've never blamed Huamin, but I just can't convince myself to give up. Wei Liao, what should I do? Sometimes I feel like I'm going to die from the heartache. Suyu lowered his head and covered his chest with one hand as it began to ache again. Chapter 1863. Lord Su, I really don't want to talk you out of it because you won't listen to me. But Jian Tong is definitely not the right person for you. If you're just sad for a while and want to use her as a shield, you should know when to stop. After all, a woman's thoughts can be very scary sometimes. Don't hurt Huamin because of your selfish decision. Think about Zhao Qingya, Song Yisher and the others. Su Yu didn't say anything, but he felt that Wei Liao had a point. Just then Su Yu's phone rang. It was a video call. Su Yu glanced at the caller ID and saw that it was Little Bean. Little Bean and Little Bean both had their own phones. They were all bought by Huamin. They were very good at it and knew many functions that Huamin didn't know. They were also on WeChat every day. Su Yu would send red packets to the sisters every holiday. They had a lot of fun. Su Yu pressed a button on his phone and picked up the video call. Then he immediately put away his gloominess and smiled gently. Little Bean, did you miss me? Handsome Su, something happened to my family. Little Bean lowered her voice and said mysteriously. Looking at the background behind her, Su Yu guessed that she was in a small study in her villa. What happened? Handsome Su looked at the little person on the other side of the phone in surprise. My sister was grounded by my mommy. Su Yu, what? Did Little Bean do something wrong? Su Yu was confused. Yeah. My sister has been unhappy since she left your house that day. You should know that my sister and I don't like Bimbo Jian, right? Wei Liao stood on the side, speechless. Little Bean was only 3 years old, but she already gave Jian Tong a nickname, Bimbo Jian. The Wei family really didn't want such a daughter-in-law. Wei Yunchu was so honest, how could he stop her? Were they not even on the same level? Little Bean, don't give Auntie Jian Tong a nickname. It doesn't sound good, Su Yu tried to persuade her. Handsome Su, don't interrupt me. Listen to me, Little Bean said helplessly. Okay, continue. Because of what happened to Bitch Jian, my sister and I were very angry. Mommy taught us that Uncle Su's business is the Su family's business. We're outsiders and shouldn't interfere. Moreover, we're the younger generation. We shouldn't interfere with the decisions of the elders. Your mother is right, Wei Liao said. Uncle Wei, don't say anything. You'll mess up my rhythm. Little Bean glanced at Wei Liao. Alright, Uncle Wei knows his mistake. Wei Liao couldn't help but laugh. No wonder everyone liked twins. They were so cute. If he wasn't careful, he might accidentally poke her cute spot. Where was I? Little Bean was confused. You said that Pudding was grounded by your mommy. Su Yu reminded her with a smile. Yes. My sister had a big reaction when she saw the news this morning. He smashed the cell phones mommy bought for us. Luckily we each have one. Otherwise, if we had to share one, I would have been implicated by my sister. Pudding smashed her cell phone? Did she have to do that? Su Yu was also stunned. He and Jian Tong had been together for a long time. My sister smashing her cell phone isn't the main point. Maybe she's just emotionally unstable. But my mommy smashing her cell phone is the main point. Damn, you didn't see it. It was so scary. I've been in this world for more than 3 years, and this is the first time I've seen my mommy so angry. Su Yu. Hearing this, Wei Liao burst out laughing. Little Bean's reaction was too funny. Chapter 1864. Your mommy smashed her phone too? Su Yu couldn't believe it. He had known Huamin for a long time, but he had never seen her smash her phone. How angry was she? True. Mommy smashed her phone and scared Pudding to tears. She was really angry. She said that Pudding was a princess who didn't want to earn money. She wasted money and smashed things. She even almost kicked Pudding out of the house. Where's Pudding now? Su Yu was a bit worried. She's in my little storage unit. Mommy wants her to face the wall and she's not allowed to eat lunch. No way. That's so cruel. Yeah. My daddy and grandma begged for mercy, but it was no use. You know, Mommy has the highest status in the family, Little Bean added. Give Pudding the phone. I want to talk to her. Su Yu was a bit anxious and wanted to comfort Pudding. I can't do anything if she doesn't open the door. She's as stubborn as a donkey. What should I do? I'll send her a WeChat message. Su Yu was a bit anxious. Handsome Su, are you stupid? I just said that Mommy smashed her phone. She doesn't have a phone to use now, Little Bean reminded him. Look at your IQ. You're not even as smart as a 3-year-old. Wei Liao laughed. It's not the time to joke. Huamin is really pissing me off. She grounded Pudding. She's a stepmother. Su Yu was furious. Little Bean, don't worry. I'll call your mommy right now and ask her. Don't. If you call my mommy, doesn't that mean I told you? Do you want to kill me? One of my family members is in jail. Do you want me to go to the storage unit too? But, what should we do now? Siyu was also confused. I think you can pretend to call my mommy and say you want to take us out. Then my mommy won't be able to handle it. Yeah, perfect. Wait for me. I'll call her now. Go, but don't let it slip. Otherwise, our friendship will capsize and the ship of love will sink. Little Bean threatened. Siyu smiled helplessly. Is the relationship between the two of us so unstable? It actually feels like our friendship will end at any time. Be a good boy, handsome Su. I'm just telling you to save my sister. I understand. After hanging up the phone, Wei Liao sighed and said, the twins are amazing. Their EQ is off the charts. Xiao Wei even said that she would leave one of them to be Yunchu's wife. I think we should forget about it. Your Yunchu won't be able to get the twins. These two girls are a headache for Huamin. Su Yu smiled proudly as if he was talking about his own daughters. Then he picked up his phone and called Huamin. Oh. President Hu, is he busy? Go ahead. The weather is nice today, so I want to take the twins to the golf course. Huamian remained silent after hearing this. Hello? Are you listening? Tiu asked. Did Little Bean call you and tell on me? Huamin asked calmly. No. Su Yu felt guilty. Then why are you taking them out today? I don't think Imperial Star is so free that the president has nothing to do. Huamin's IQ really gave Su Yu a headache. Su Yu was just about to think of a way not to be seen through by Huamin. Then he heard Huamin say, Pudding made a mistake and I locked her up. He can't go out today. Maybe another day. Hey, why are you so serious with a kid? How old is she? You're smashing your phone and scaring her. Don't you think that's too much? You said Little Bean didn't call you? You even know the details? Huamin asked. Su Yu was completely speechless. Unknowingly, he betrayed Little Bean. He was really caught off guard. Chapter 1865. Fine, I admit it. Pudding did call me and then. Don't you think you're a stepmother? How can you punish a child like that? She's only 3 years old. She should be punished for her mistakes. It has nothing to do with her age. Plus, I didn't punish her physically, I just wanted her to reflect on her mistakes. That shitty storage unit of yours. Will it scare Pudding? Su Yu's heart ached. Don't underestimate Qin Zhaozhao. Although she's a capable person, she's also very resilient. Huamin felt a headache coming on. Qin Chu and Su Yu were both pleading for Pudding. It was as if she was the one who made the mistake. Why were they so biased? Anyway, I don't agree with you treating her like that. Tiu was angry. Then what do you want? Let her go immediately or I'll tell Grandpa. Su Yu, you're so shameless. Huamin was furious. How could he tell Lord Su that he was the one who took care of the kids? It was obvious that Grandpa Su doted on the twins. If he were to find out, the consequences would be unimaginable. I'm shameless. If you abuse the kids, then you're shameless. No way. I'll give you 1 hour. Pudding doesn't come out by then. Su Yu, I'm telling you, don't tell Lord Su. I'll ask the butler to let her go right now. Huamin hung up the phone. What the hell was going on? After hanging up, Huamin was still angry. He called Uncle Li and asked him to open the door, but Uncle Li said Pudding had locked it from the inside. Huamin was so angry that he asked Uncle Li to find a locksmith and let her out. He would deal with her when he got home tonight. At South Hill Manor, Uncle Li followed Huamin's instructions and unlocked the storage unit. Seeing the lock was broken, Pudding slowly walked out. Miss Pudding, are you okay? Grandpa Li, I'm fine. I'm fine. Sis, you're finally out. You should thank handsome Su. Little Bean held her sister's hand. What does it have to do with him? If I didn't call handsome Su, do you think you would have come out so soon? Why are you so nosy? Who needs his help? Pudding seemed to still be angry with Su Yu. She turned around and left. Why don't you know what's good for you? Handsome Su asked you to video call him. I don't want it, Pudding said angrily. Then you don't want Handsome Su's red packet. Well, Handsome Su said he's taking us to the golf course tomorrow. I'm not going. Then, are you really going to give up on Handsome Su? It's great. Handsome Su will be mine from now on. No one will fight with me for him, huh? Little Bean seemed to be in a good mood. When Pudding heard this, she suddenly stopped and turned around to look at her. You should think of a way to deal with Bimbo Jen first. Little Bean. GK headquarters. After receiving Suyu's call, Huamin was busy assigning tasks to each department. Qin Chu, on the other hand, was accompanied by Assistant Yang on a tour of each floor. He hadn't been back for a long time and felt a sense of familiarity. This was the empire that his father and uncle fought for. President Qin, your leg hasn't fully recovered yet? Assistant Yang looked at Qin Chu's right leg sadly. It's a lot better. It doesn't affect my ability to walk, but I can't do strenuous exercise. Qin Chu smiled. It'll get better for sure. It's okay. I'm fine as it is. Life is full of challenges and difficulties. The most important thing is to know when to let go. I'm happy that I can come back and be with my wife and daughter. President Qin, I want to ask, what would you do if you came back and found out that President Hua and President Su were together? After all, you disappeared for 4 whole years. We all thought you. Assistant Yang paused for a moment. Qin Chu slowly stopped walking as well, and his eyes darkened. Chapter 1866. You're right. It's been 4 years, so long that I wonder if I should stop disturbing her life. Then, Yang wanted to say something but stopped. I've been paying attention to the news in China. 4 years have passed and Mian is still alone. I believe that she really can't accept Suyu. If what you said is true and she really got together with Suyu, then I have no reason to blame her. After all, I didn't do well enough, so I believe that I would turn around and give her my blessings. I won't go back to China, I'll just silently watch her be happy. I'm not doing this because I'm noble, it's because I love her deeply and I don't want to make things difficult for her. The truth is, the thing I regret the most in my life is that I couldn't be with her when she was pregnant and gave birth. But I don't regret it. If I could turn back time and choose again, I would still do the same. My legs are just one of the reasons. More importantly, if I didn't get rid of the enemy, my wife and daughter might live in fear for the rest of their lives. As their husband and father, I won't be so cowardly, nor will I lack consideration. President Qin, your love is very deep. Unfortunately, not everyone understands this kind of love. Many people only see the surface. Many people think that President Su's 4 years of companionship is a great debt of gratitude. Yang complained on behalf of Qin Chu. I don't need everyone to understand me. In this world, only Mian understands me. Qin Chu, on the other hand, was very calm. This kind of mindset and attitude really made a noob like Yang admire him. Perhaps it was because he had been by Qin Chu's side for too long, so he understood the president's style of doing things. He knew that Qin Chu rarely said anything, but most of the time he did everything in silence. All these years, all his thoughts were on Huamin. For Huamin he could sacrifice his life. However, such a stubborn and patient person had once been scolded badly by others. Back then, when Qin Chu's whereabouts were unknown, someone wrote a long post on Weibo. It caused a sensation on the internet, and the fans overwhelmingly supported Huamin and Suyu being together. Then he slandered Qin Chu, saying how irresponsible he was. They had never thought about what Qin Chu had experienced. If he hadn't been so calm and quick-witted, seeing through Hua Xiqian's plan in advance, he would have been a pile of bones by now. Xiao Yang felt that a man who endured 4 years of torment just to protect his wife was not a coward. This was perhaps a height that Suyu would never be able to reach in his lifetime. That was why Huamin was willing to give up everything just to wait for him, even if it meant waiting for a lifetime. President Qin, your leg will definitely recover. Don't worry. I'm not worried. It's good enough that I can walk normally. I'm already satisfied. Qin Chu was still relatively casual. I won't force this matter anymore. Because back then the most authoritative orthopedic doctor in the United States had concluded that he would have to live with a cane for the rest of his life. And the result? With his strong willpower he performed several surgeries and suffered a lot. He tried everything that had a chance of recovery. 4 years of follow-up examinations sounded easy to others, but Qin Ning knew how much pain her brother had to endure. When it was said that his right leg might be crippled, Qin Chu's first reaction wasn't that his leg wouldn't recover and he couldn't walk anymore. Instead he thought, if my leg is crippled, how am I going to carry Mian on my back? Therefore there was no need to talk about love. Time was the best proof. Time could always show a person's true nature. The person that Xiao Yang admired the most was President Qin. At such a young age he carried the world on his own. He doted on his wife so much that he dedicated his entire life to the woman he loved. How many people in the world could do that? Xiaoyang suddenly envied Qin Chu and Huamian when they were young. They skipped classes together and ate ramen together on campus. Chapter 1867. President Qin, was President Hu special when you were in high school? She always attracted people's attention, right? Yang asked with a smile. Yeah. Back then she was young and naive, but she was smart and never let herself be taken advantage of. Qin Chu smiled. That's great. I think if there's a chance I can contact a famous director to make a movie about your Aegean story. It just so happens that there's a popular theme about campus youth recently, such as Whose Innocence Isn't Confused comic, That Hurried Year comic, The Girl We Chased Together, etc. That's a great idea. Surprisingly, Qin Chu agreed. I'll discuss it with Huamin and see what she thinks. If she agrees, I'll do it right away. Yang's voice was tinged with excitement. There's no rush. We're only 2/3 of the way through our lives. Maybe in a few decades when our daughters are older we'll film it then. It'll be more memorable. Speaking of his 2 daughters, Qin Chu felt warm in his heart. He and Yang walked around the company for a while before returning to the president's office. It was almost time to get off work. Honey, do you need to work overtime today? Qin Chu walked over with a glass of milk and placed it on Huamin's desk. No, I'll be done soon. After Huamin spoke, she signed a few documents and got up to grab her jacket. By the way, didn't Hua Xiqian call me this morning? Yeah. What he said was strange. What did he say? Qin Chu looked at her. He said, both of us are in trouble. I don't know what he meant. Qin Chu's expression changed slightly. You know? Seeing Qin Chu's reaction, Huamin was a bit confused. Does it have anything to do with Ian? Qin Chu wasn't confident that he could deal with Ian because he knew that even Lu Yen and the professor couldn't do anything to him. Also, Ian's family was too complicated. If he messed with Ian, he might be hunted down for the rest of his life. That was not what he wanted to see. I don't think so. Isn't Ian on Hua Xiqian's side? If it's Ian, I should be the one in trouble with you. I will investigate this matter. Don't worry. Qin Chu held Huamin's hand lovingly and patted the back of her hand. Huamin nodded. Then the 2 of them drove home. When they arrived home, Uncle Li had already asked the kitchen to prepare dinner. Where's Pudding? Qin Chu looked around and only saw Little Bean watching cartoons in the living room. Pudding was nowhere to be seen. She's upstairs in the bedroom. She's not in a good mood, Uncle Li replied. Sis said she doesn't want to eat. She doesn't have an appetite. She didn't eat breakfast or lunch. Will she be hungry? Little Bean purposely nagged. It's good that she doesn't want to eat. Let's eat. Don't worry about her. Uncle Li, can you ask my mom to come down? Where's Uncle Zhixing? Little Bean asked. He said he's having dinner with his colleagues. He won't be back for dinner, Huamin said. Then she took off her jacket and went into the kitchen to wash her hands. When she came out, Mr. Qin was already gone. Only Little Bean was sitting at the dining table waiting for her. Daddy went upstairs. I think he went to comfort Sis, Little Bean said. Huamin didn't say anything. In fact, she cared about her daughter. However, if she gave in now, then her performance this morning would be for nothing. So she decided to continue acting cool and observe Pudding's reaction. Then Huamin sat down next to Little Bean. She picked up a red bean bun from the table and took a bite. Mommy, you don't look well. Are you too tired? Little Bean asked. Chapter 1868. It's okay. Have some soup, it tastes really good. Plus, at your age you need to take care of your skin more. Don't always think about work, or you'll become a haggard old woman and Daddy won't like you anymore. If he doesn't like you, you'll easily go out and find a mistress. It's scary to have a mistress and then there'll be no peace at home. Daddy won't come home at night and you'll wash your face with tears every day. Oh, just thinking about it makes me sad, Huamin. To be honest, if she wasn't used to the way the 2 kids talked, she would have been so angry. What they said just now would have made her choke on a red bean bun. Little Bean, what are you talking about? I'm just giving you a heads up. Don't be nervous. From the current situation, Daddy still loves you very, very much. Little Bean smiled. Hurry up and eat. Don't talk nonsense. I really can't believe you, Huamin lectured Bao. Upstairs in the bedroom when Qin Chu entered, Pudding was sitting alone by the piano. She was playing City in the Sky slowly. It was obvious that she was sad. Pudding. Daddy, you're back. Pudding turned around and looked at Chin Chu with a rare smile. You're still practicing the piano. I'm just playing for fun. Are you still mad at Mommy? Chin Chu sat down beside her and asked gently. Pudding bit her lip. No, actually, I'm mad at myself. Why are you mad at yourself? Because I feel that. I seem to have been a little too willful this time and hurt Mommy's heart. Mommy is right about one thing. I brought my inner dissatisfaction into the house and affected everyone. I'm very sorry. Do you really think so? You're not angry? Chin Chu held his daughter's hand and asked patiently. Yeah, I'm not angry. I lost control of my emotions and smashed my phone. In fact, after thinking about it, I regretted it. Mommy was right. I didn't even have the ability to make money, so I learned to destroy things first. It's not a good habit. Your mommy loves you too, but sometimes she has to teach you what's right and wrong. I know. I'm really upset about Handsome Sue. You really like Handsome Sue? Yeah, I like Handsome Sue a lot. He's like Daddy and treats us the best. We know that he likes Mommy, and we thought that if Daddy didn't come back, we'd set them up in a few years. But we also know that Mommy doesn't like him. She doesn't have Handsome Sue in her heart, only Daddy. Handsome Sue must be really sad this time, or else Jen Tong wouldn't have taken advantage of him. Even if it's just an act, I don't want to see them together. That's the truth. Yes, you're right. Your Uncle Sue might have done something wrong this time. But these things can be solved. It's useless for you to sulk at home. Everyone is worried about you. I know. Then, how about going down to eat with Daddy now? Pudding couldn't seem to pull a long face. Are you embarrassed to apologize to Mommy? Chin Chu asked. Pudding pursed her lips and didn't say anything. You're just as stubborn as her. She's still waiting for you to apologize, but you don't want to. What should we do? You two are putting Daddy in a difficult position. Chin Chu deliberately laughed. Daddy, forget it. I won't go down. It'll be awkward if I see Mommy. How about I go down tomorrow morning? Pudding was still worried. But if you don't go down now, you'll miss the best opportunity. Your Mommy has been in a bad mood at the company all day. Although she didn't say it out loud, she's been thinking about you. Really? Isn't it because Handsome Sue and Daddy begged Mommy to let me out early? Pudding asked suspiciously. Chapter 1869. That's one of the reasons. But the real reason is that Mommy can't bear to let her go. Otherwise, do you think anyone would be able to help her? Chin Chu's patient explanation made Pudding fall silent. She lowered her head thinking about something. Just then Chin Chu brought over a small box. Of course. If you don't want to eat downstairs, Daddy won't force you. But Little Bean said you didn't eat this morning and noon. This is Aaliyah's cake. I heard you like their tiramisu a lot, so Daddy bought some for you. Thank you, Daddy. Pudding seemed touched. Good girl, Daddy will go downstairs first. Think about it, I'm sure Pudding will be able to think it through since she's so smart, right? Then without further persuasion he turned around and walked downstairs. Pudding looked at the exquisite cake with mixed feelings. Daddy, Pudding still won't come down. Is she as stubborn as a cow? Pudding's cake was already in her round belly, and there was still cream on the corner of her mouth. I think Pudding already knows she's wrong. She'll come down in a bit. Chin Chu purposely glanced at Huamin after he spoke. Huamin didn't say anything. His expression was as calm as ever as he ate. Mim, why are you so angry at a child? Yang Mirong felt bad for her granddaughter. Mom, it's not about being angry, it's how I educate my child. How can you educate your child like that? You're almost like a stepmother. Yang Mirong was a little angry. A stepmother wouldn't be so kind as to teach her right and wrong. I know you guys feel bad for Pudding, but this time I can't compromise. You can call me heartless or a stepmother, but I have to make her realize her mistake. Mian, how can you be like this? Yang Mirong seemed unhappy that her daughter was hungry. Just as she was about to continue nagging, Chin Chu interrupted. Mom, Mian has a point. Kids are still young and don't know how to deal with things. They don't know if they're right or wrong, so we have to guide them. Mian's method is a little extreme, but Pudding isn't an ordinary child. Maybe it'll work. Hey, you guys are so annoying. Pudding's name always makes me feel like I don't exist. Pudding was anxious. She was so cute that Chin Chu's heart melted. He immediately walked over, took the tissue and wiped the cream off the corner of her mouth. Little Bean, try not to eat desserts at night. You'll get fat. You have to maintain your figure or else it'll be hard for you to find a boyfriend. After all, this is a society that values looks and figures, Chin Chu kindly reminded her. Daddy, I've already seriously considered this question 5 months ago. In the end I came to a conclusion. Seeing how serious she was, Chin Chu tried his best not to laugh. What's the conclusion? Chin Chu couldn't help but ask. We're so rich, of course we can find boyfriends. Pudding and I are looking for boyfriends, whether or not they're sincere we'll think they're after our money. So we might as well let them be after our money. So, even if I'm 180 pounds it doesn't matter. Anyway, the emperor's daughter doesn't have to worry about marriage. We're rich so I can eat whatever I want, Chin Chu, Huamin. Chapter 1870. Wow, our little bean is so full of tricks. Yang Mirong couldn't help but laugh. Chin Mumu, please don't use your twisted logic to fool your daddy. After all, he's still naive and hasn't seen your true colors. Is it really okay for you to find excuses for your gluttony? Huamin glanced at his daughter. Mommy found out. I was just teasing Daddy. How can I give up on myself? After all, there's no spring for fat people. Chin Chu. He realized that he was really getting old. The logic of the two children was too strong. Sometimes the words they said would make him flabbergasted. Just as everyone was about to finish eating, Pudding came downstairs in a white cotton nightgown. She wore a red Mickey Mouse headband on her long black hair. She looked very cute. Pudding and Little Bean looked exactly the same. They had inherited Chin Chu's excellent genes and were both very good-looking. However, the only thing that could make people distinguish them right away was their personality and aura. Pudding always had a smile on her face. When she smiled, her eyes were like crescent moons. Pudding, on the other hand, was always serious and seemed to have a lot on her mind. Oh, sis is coming down, Pudding looked and said. Chin Chu was relieved. It seemed that the kid had thought things through. Miss Pudding, you came down just in time. Come and eat. Uncle Lee really liked the two kids. Thank you, Grandpa Lee. Pudding greeted the butler politely. Then she walked over. Pudding, come to Grandma. Grandma told you that the lotus root slices tonight are very delicious. You like the crunchy ones the most, right? Grandma, I'll eat later. Pudding said and slowly walked towards Huamin. Pudding lowered her voice and whispered into Chin Chu's ear. I think sis is going to apologize to Mommy. Of course. Are you going to continue fighting with your mommy? Chin Chu lovingly pinched the tip of Pudding's nose. Mommy. Pudding said softly. Huamin responded faintly. Mommy. I'm sorry about this morning. Little Pudding was still a child, so when she said the words I'm sorry, tears welled up in her eyes. The moment Pudding apologized, Huamin's heart completely softened. After all, she was her biological daughter whom she had carried for 10 months. She loved her more than anyone else. But he couldn't indulge her recklessly just because he loved her. Huamin still had his own principles. Pudding, do you know what you did wrong? I shouldn't have thrown my phone in such a bad mood. Smashing your phone is just one of them. What else? Huamin tilted his head and looked at his daughter with a serious expression. I shouldn't have treated handsome Sue and that woman like that. Although I don't like her, I shouldn't have been so rude to her. After all, handsome Sue brought her home. You're right. Mommy understands that you and Uncle Sue are close. Uncle Sue has a girlfriend and I understand that you don't like him. But, you shouldn't have been so rude and aggressive towards others. You also brought your bad mood home to our family, Pudding, Daddy and Mommy. I know I was wrong. From now on I'll control my emotions and won't throw things. Mommy, please don't be mad at me. Pudding's tears fell uncontrollably as she said this. The truth was the child felt wronged as well. Huamin didn't feel good either. He immediately picked up Pudding and placed her on his lap. Chapter 1871. Then she kissed Pudding's cheek. I hope you don't blame Mommy for being cruel. Mommy has to teach you and Little Bean a lesson. I can't let people say that Chin Chu and Huamin's daughters have no manners. I know, Mommy. I was too stubborn. It's okay. It's good that you know what you did wrong. Don't feel guilty. Tomorrow will be a new day. Everything that happened today will be in the past. Pudding seemed to understand what her mommy meant and nodded. The food is a bit cold. I'll ask the kitchen to heat it up. Mommy, I want to eat your vegetable noodles. Pudding rarely acted like a spoiled child. Whoa, sis, you're being stubborn again. Little Bean covered her mouth and laughed. However, Huamin's eyes were gentle. Mommy will go to the kitchen now. Wait a moment. Then Huamin put down Pudding and went straight to the kitchen. Now I'll help you. Her mother was worried about Huamin, so she followed her into the kitchen. Chinchu looked at Pudding. You did a great job. Sis, you're good at acting like a spoiled child too. Little Bean teased. Shut up. I haven't settled the score with you yet. What score? I saved your life today. If I didn't video call Handsome Sue, would he have begged Mommy for mercy? Little Bean said proudly. How dare you? You video chatted with Handsome Sue while I was grounded. Pudding pouted. Watching his daughters bicker, Chinchu only smiled but didn't say anything. Suddenly he thought of something. He opened Huamin's bag and took out a box. He put it in front of Pudding. Your mommy bought you a new phone when she came back. Pudding was a little surprised and then very touched. She picked up the phone box and felt that it was heavy. Mommy is actually very gentle, Pudding said as she bit her lip. Daddy, that's unfair to me. This has a new phone. What about me? Yours isn't broken, right? Chinchu asked. Then can I also find a reason to break it? Little Bean asked on purpose. Sure, but you have to think about your mommy's reaction today and think about what your sister went through, Chinchu kindly reminded him. Little Bean, forget it then. I think my phone is actually quite new. Huh. Little Bean immediately backed off. Hearing Little Bean's words, Chinchu and Pudding looked at each other and grinned. 20 minutes later, Huamin came out of the kitchen with a bowl of soup. Mommy, I want some too. Little Bean, you just ate half a bowl of rice, a red bean bun and a piece of tiramisu, Grandma reminded her. It's not easy for Mommy to cook personally. I don't want to miss it, hee hee. I cooked a lot so you guys can eat, but don't go to sleep immediately after eating. You guys should play downstairs for a while and exercise, Huamin said. Okay, Mommy. We'll take good care of ourselves. Little Bean licked her lips. Huamin was immediately speechless. Take good care of ourselves. Even the word was unfamiliar to her. After apologizing, Pudding felt much better and ate a bowl of vegetable noodles in one go. Then she went downstairs to play with her sister in the living room. Huamin and Chinchu went upstairs to their bedroom. After Huamin took off his clothes and walked into the bathroom, Mr. Chin followed right behind him. What are you doing? Mr. Chin, you're so dirty. Who told you to be so direct? Chinchu felt wronged. I didn't mean it that way. I want to take a shower. Why are you following me? I want to take a shower with you. Huamin immediately blushed. After 4 years, the only thing that didn't change about Mr. Chin was that he was still so direct. In the end, Huamin couldn't resist Mr. Chin's gentle advances and the two of them stayed in the bathroom for a long time. When they came out, Huamin was already exhausted. Lying on the bed, she picked up her phone and saw that she had many missed calls. She immediately called back. Sister Huamin, something happened to Ni Young. He was just sent to Southside Recuperation Center. Chinjia was so scared that she couldn't stop crying. Huamin's expression immediately changed and she shot up. When did this happen? What happened? Chapter 1872. I heard from his assistant that he was stalked by an obsessive fan. And that's why. Jia, don't cry. I'll be right there. Okay. Chinjia and Ni Yang's relationship was stable. Ni Yang even bought a house and was ready to marry Chinjia. However, Chinjia didn't want to delay Ni Yang's career, so she didn't officially agree to his proposal. However, as long as Ni Yang didn't have work to do, the two of them would be together. In Ni Yang's own mansion, Chinjia cooked for him, washed his clothes and took care of him carefully. Other than Ni Yang's mother and brother, Huamin was the person who treated Ni Yang the best. Therefore, Chinjia would think of Ni Yang whenever something happened. When Chinchu walked out of the bathroom, he saw Huamin getting dressed. Honey, are you going out? Yeah, something happened to Ni Yang. I have to go to Southside. I'll go with you. Chinchu immediately took off his bathrobe and changed. Oh, it's late, and your leg is injured. I can go by myself. I'll be fine with a bodyguard. Honey, I'm injured but I'm not crippled. I'll be fine. I'll be worried even if I have a bodyguard. In the end, Huamin couldn't convince Chinchu. Huamin was a bodyguard in ancient times, but Chinchu said he was a bodyguard. The two of them drove to Southside in a low-key R8. Southside Recuperation Center, VIP ward. Huamin saw Ni Yong with a white bandage on his cheek. Sister Huamin, President Qin Jia greeted them as soon as she saw them. Sis. Brother-in-law, why are you here? Ni Yong looked up with his hand on his injured left cheek. I was the one who called Huamian, Jia said softly. What happened? You hurt your face. Huamin put down his bag, walked over and checked the wound. It's okay. It's just a superficial wound. Ni Yong smiled. How can you be so careless? Huamin turned around and looked at Ni Yang's male assistant. What happened? How could something like this happen out of nowhere? President Hua, this time it's probably because of the stalker fans. They were following us in our van and would take pictures of us wherever we went. They even found out which flight we were on and bought first-class tickets to harass us. There was a girl from a rich family who seemed to like Ni Yang a lot. I don't know where she got Ni Yang's phone number from, but she kept harassing him like a psycho. Ni Yang ignored her. This time she brought a group of girls and found out that we were filming a TV show. Backstage, under the pretense of signing autographs, they swarmed up and scratched Ni Yang's face. It might be an act of revenge. She also said that Ni Yang looked down on her, the assistant recalled slowly. Huamin's face darkened bit by bit. I'm fine sis, don't worry. The girl was drunk. I don't think she did it on purpose, Ni Yang said calmly. How can that be? It's not about whether she did it on purpose or not, it's about violence. Did you call the police? Yes, the police took them away, but apparently they've already let them go. The girl's family is quite powerful and we don't want to make a big deal out of it. Ni Yang said that we're giving them a chance to create hype. The assistant lowered his head. How can that be? We can't just let it go. We have to make an example out of them. What if there are more stalker fans who bully people like this in the future? It's okay sis. Let's just let it go this time. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. No, I won't let anyone bully you. Huamin was furious. Ni Yang was a very indifferent boy who would never deliberately fight with others. Chapter 1873. In the past few years he had a good reputation in the entertainment industry and he worked very hard. Many of his fans supported and loved him from the bottom of their hearts. However, that didn't mean that Ni Yang didn't have someone to back him up. Even though GK was no longer an entertainment company. Ni Yang signed with Su Yu's company, but Huamin's feelings for him were still the same. Honey, can you help me investigate that girl's background? Before Huamin could finish his sentence, the door to his room was pushed open. Everyone looked over and saw that it was Su Yu. It was already 11:20 p.m., and Ni Yang's incident was sudden, so the media didn't know about it. It was obvious that Su Yu was well informed. President Su. Ni Yang was surprised as well. I just heard that you were injured. How are you? Where are you hurt? Is it serious? Su Yu was wearing a white Versace suit, and followed behind him without saying a word. It's not serious, just a few scratches on my left cheek. The doctor said it won't leave a scar, Ni Yang replied. That's good, I've already found the girls who hit you. I've already sued them under the company's name, and our team of lawyers will handle this. You just need to rest and recover. That fast? Huamin was speechless. He was just about to investigate and Su Yu was already suing them. Thank you, President Su, I'm sorry for troubling you. Ni Yang was quite embarrassed. It was just a small matter, but so many people were alerted in the middle of the night. You're welcome, you're my employee and I'm supposed to take care of you. Su Yu had always treated his employees well, but the reason why he was especially nice to Ni Yang was definitely because of Huamin. Everyone was well aware of this, and everyone knew what was going on. Since you're involved, then I won't investigate anymore. It's easier for your company to handle this. Compensate, apologize and detain. Huamin said faintly. We don't care about compensation and Imperial Star doesn't lack money. We must destroy that woman's reputation. Su Yu had always been extremely arrogant and no one could compare to him. Good job. This time I'm on your side. Huamian finally let out a breath of relief. What kind of girl liked her idol? She tried to harass him but in the end her love turned to hate him? That was terrifying. He definitely couldn't let it go so easily. Otherwise it might cause even more trouble in the future. Then Su Yu looked up at Huamian. Come with me. I have something to say. Huamin turned around and looked at Qin Chu as if telling him not to think too much. Qin Chu on the other hand was very calm. Go ahead, I'm going downstairs to buy a pack of cigarettes. Then Qin Chu quickly turned around and went downstairs. Huamin followed Suyu out, and Yang was in the hospital room, completely dumbfounded. And how did President Su know I was injured? Someone took a video of the scene and wanted to use it as a publicity stunt. Then they sold the video to a famous media company. The CEO of that company is very close to President Su, and as soon as he saw you he immediately called him. President Su immediately suppressed the news. You still have 2 movies coming up next month, so there's no way he'd let any negative news come out. I really have to thank President Su this time. And Yang nodded. Does it still hurt? Do you want me to put a hot towel on it for you? Qinjie's heart ached as she walked over and gently touched the gauze. Doesn't hurt. I'm not a woman, I'm not that delicate. Go get some rest, you've been busy all night. And Yang picked up Qinjie's hand and kissed it. And Yang's male assistant immediately turned their heads away awkwardly. They were about to torture the 2 of them. Inside the hospital room, what instructions, Lord Su? Huamin asked jokingly. Chapter 1874. How dare you laugh? Why can't I laugh? How did you treat Pudding today? Suyu looked serious. Oh, that's what you're talking about. Huamin was speechless. Look at you. You're an adult, how can you bully kids? Do you have any conscience? What does that have to do with conscience? I'm educating the kids, Huamin explained. You can't lock her up. Do you think you're in the army? You're not an instructor. Huamin, say something. Say what? Huamin was confused. Where's Pudding? She's at home. She's asleep. Did you apologize to her? Suyu asked domineeringly. Please. She did something wrong, why should I apologize? She already apologized to me, okay? I also bought her a new phone. This matter was resolved peacefully. Lord Su, what are you so nervous about? Anyway, Huamian, I'm telling you, you can't treat Pudding and Little Bean like this. They're still kids. They don't know anything yet. Don't use your mother's power. What are you talking about? What do you mean by use my power? Do you think I'm that unreasonable? Huamin was helpless. Anyway, this is a warning. Next time what can you do? Huamin raised his chin teasingly. I'll tell Grandpa and ask him to teach you a lesson. You only know how to complain. Are you even a man? Huamin was furious. I don't care. Anyways, I won't let this happen again. Fine, you're acting like you're their father. Please. Even my Qin Chu didn't react as strongly as you, okay? Lord Su, you're teaching the kids the wrong things. They'll turn on you when they grow up. I'm happy to turn on you. I'm rich, I can do whatever I want. Why do you care? I don't want to talk to you. Then Huamian turned around to leave. Wait. Speak. About me and Jiantong, are you trying to ask me what my attitude is? Huamin turned his head. Suyu nodded with an unnatural expression on his face. If I were to treat her as a good friend, then as a family member I definitely wouldn't agree. It's not that I look down on her because she's an actress. After all, I don't come from a prestigious family, so I'm not as good as her. But Jiantong isn't as simple as she seems. I feel like she's a scheming person. She's not as elegant as she appears on the surface. It's best if you don't get too involved with her. Of course, if you truly like her, then that's a different story. After all, I still hope that lovers can find their way together. Lovers can find their way together, huh? What are you saying? Suyu smiled bitterly. If I were to look at this as an outsider, then you can do whatever you want. After all, you're so old that you can't even have a single woman by your side. Let's not talk about whether or not you can get married. It's good to have someone to keep you company when you're lonely. Jiantong is your employee, so she admires you a lot. You won't be so tired when you're with her, and I'm sure she'll take good care of you. If she's from a rich family, she might even have princess syndrome and do it with you once every 3 days. I don't want you to be a friend or an outsider. I just want you to be Huamin. Then tell me, who is Huamin? Huamin was confused as he glanced at Suyu. Chapter 1875. As a woman that I, Suyu, have liked for years, Suyu said slowly. Of course I'll give you my blessings. After all, I don't want you to be alone. I understand. Thank you for telling me so much. Then Suyu turned around in disappointment. He didn't know if he was sick or something, but he always wanted answers from Huamin. However, every time Huamin said something he would feel extremely sad. In Wei Liao's words, he was looking for trouble. After Suyu left, Huamin went back to his room to chat with Ni Yang and Qin Jia while waiting for Qin Chu. Downstairs, Qin Chu came back from buying cigarettes and put one in his mouth. As he walked, he heard faint footsteps behind him. He turned around abruptly and saw an unfamiliar man in a black baseball uniform appear behind him out of nowhere. He was wearing a baseball cap and had a shiny dagger in his hand. He aimed the dagger at Qin Chu. Luckily, Mr. Qin reacted quickly and dodged. The man's movements were swift and clean, and it was obvious that he was a martial artist. When he saw that his first attack didn't work, he immediately tried a second one. He purposely chose this secluded area to attack because he wanted to kill Qin Chu. Qin Chu spat out the cigarette in his mouth and started fighting with the man. The man obviously came prepared and was very strong. Qin Chu didn't dare to be careless and carefully dodged every attack. He knew that if the dagger fell, it would definitely be fatal. During the 4 years he was in the States, he learned a lot of martial arts in order to get retested. However, right now he was at a higher level. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come out with Huamin without a bodyguard. Just as the man pounced on him again, Qin Chu pulled out his gun and pointed it at the man. That person abruptly stopped his movements. "Who sent you?" Qin Chu asked coldly. The man didn't say anything. "Huasiqian?" Qin Chu asked tentatively. After hearing Huasiqian's name, the man pounced on Qin Chu like a madman, ignoring the gun in his hand. Qin Chu pulled the trigger. Because it was a special silencer, there was no sound. Without attracting the attention of the people around him, Qin Chu shot the man's wrist. The dagger fell to the ground with a clang, making a crisp sound. The man was about to pick it up with his other hand when Qin Chu stepped on his wrist. Ugh. He made a pain sound. Qin Chu slowly squatted down and picked up the dagger. "Huasiqian sent you to kill me? Don't try to trick me. If you want to kill me, then kill me. Someone as important as you wouldn't kill anyone. After all, your life is more valuable than mine." The man sneered. "Huasiqian doesn't know that you're here to kill me, right?" Qin Chu slowly asked as he played with the dagger. The man's expression froze. It seemed like Qin Chu was right. "But you came to kill me alone to show your loyalty to your master. That's quite brave of you. I won't kill you." The man was slightly stunned. He glanced at Qin Chu, not knowing what Qin Chu was thinking. "But I can't let you go so easily." After speaking, Qin Chu raised the dagger and pierced the man's palm. The man was a man, so he didn't make a sound. Blood flowed out of his palm. He was in so much pain that his forehead was covered in sweat. Looking at the dagger piercing the center of his palm, that feeling was worse than death. Chapter 1876. Qin Chu's methods were indeed much more ruthless than 4 years ago. Qin Chu said he wouldn't kill him, so he kept his word. He got up and left. The man stumbled to his feet and hurriedly ran away. The entire process didn't even take more than 10 minutes. It was a quick battle. "Honey, let's go back." Qin Chu took a pack of cigarettes upstairs. "Okay." Huamin nodded, then looked at Ni Yang. "Get well soon and be careful." "Okay, after Chinese New Year, I'll ask President Su for a leave of absence." "Leave of absence? Are you going on a trip?" "No, I'm getting married." "Haha, that's a good thing. Looks like I'll have to prepare another big red packet." After chatting and laughing, Huamin and Qin Chu walked out of the room. "Honey, why is there blood on your hand?" Huamin used to be a nurse and doctor, so she was especially sensitive to the smell of blood. "Huh." Qin Chu didn't notice. He must have gotten some of that man's blood on himself when he was fighting. "Look, there's really blood. Did you get hurt?" Huamin panicked. "No, maybe when I came back there was a car accident patient in the ER and I pushed the cart. I helped out and accidentally got it on my hand," Mr. Qin said perfunctorily. "Oh, that's good, you scared me. Honey, are you afraid that I'll get hurt?" "Of course." Huamin rolled her eyes at him. "I won't. Your husband is very strong now. Not only will I not get hurt, but I also won't let you and the baby get hurt." After hearing this, Huamin finally felt a little relieved. Inside the Hua mansion, Huasiqian had been having trouble sleeping lately, and he kept seeing people who were already dead in his dreams. He wasn't sure if it was a bad omen. First, he dreamed of Hua Jinghai standing in the old house in a white robe. Then he dreamed of Song Yisher lying in the bathroom with blood all over her face. Even someone as calm as Huasiqian had moments when he panicked. He didn't dare to turn off the lights when he was sleeping. There was a saying that was very true. Since he had done something wrong, he would definitely be afraid of ghosts. "Boss, are you asleep?" Suddenly there was a knock on the door. Huasiqian broke out in cold sweat again. "What's the matter?" He got up with a cold face and put on his sleeping robe. "Boss, something happened to Ali." Huasiqian frowned slightly after hearing this. Then he opened the door and walked out. Ali was his #1 valiant general. He acted quickly and was vicious. Could be said that he was vicious and merciless. He had been by Huasiqian's side for more than 5 years and was a trustworthy person. When Huasiqian walked downstairs, he saw Ali lying on the living room floor. His face was haggard and there was a dagger in his right hand. The dagger had pierced right through his palm. Just looking at it made one's heart tremble. What happened? How did he get hurt like this? Huasiqian gritted his teeth in anger. "Boss, The person beside him didn't dare to speak. At this time Ali was already unconscious, so no one knew where to start asking. "Speak." Huasiqian tilted his head and yelled at one of his subordinates. "Boss, here's what happened. Brotherly noticed that you've been in a bad mood recently. He knew that you've been feeling uneasy because of Qin Chu's return to the country. He said a few times that he wanted to do something but you've been hesitant, so..." At this point the person paused for a moment. "Go on." Huasiqian's voice was as cold as ice. "So, Brotherly wanted to kill Qin Chu behind your back. Recently he's been looking for an opportunity to follow him. Finally he saw him go out alone at Southside tonight. He thought it was a good opportunity so he went after him, but he didn't expect that. Not only did he fail but he also got stabbed in the hand by Qin Chu. Ridiculous, you idiots, you're pissing me off." Huasiqian was so angry that he kicked over a coffee table in front of him, shattering all the glassware on the floor. His subordinates were so scared that they didn't even dare to breathe. Chapter 1877. Who do you think Qin Chu is? He wasn't easy to deal with in the past, let alone now that he's back. I didn't let you do it not because I'm afraid of him, but because now isn't a good time to do it. Do you think I want to keep him alive? But killing Qin Chu requires careful planning. Plus, he's very vigilant and skilled in martial arts. That idiot Ali is no match for him. Do you think he can kill him with a stupid dagger? He carries the world's top military equipment with him. That pistol is enough to kill you many times over. If he wanted to kill Ali, we wouldn't be seeing him now. He doesn't dare to kill him because he's afraid of being exposed, right? Idiot, they have 10,000 ways to make Ali disappear without a trace. Just like how I also have 10,000 ways to easily frame him back then. Don't use your pig brains to think of your opponents. Yes. You're right, boss. What are you waiting for? Are you all dead? Hurry up and get a doctor, he's going to die soon. Huasiqian hadn't been so angry in a long time. These idiots were infuriating him. Yes. One of his subordinates ran over and called for his personal doctor. After more than 4 hours of surgery, the doctor carefully pulled out the dagger. "Mr. Hua, the surgery is over." Huasiqian nodded. He took out a big envelope full of US dollars and handed it to the doctor. "Dr. Zhao, I don't want anyone to know about what happened today. Don't worry, Mr. Hua. I'll keep it a secret." "How is he?" "He's fine now, but his right hand is crippled. He can't use force or catch a cold. He needs to be careful." "Okay, I got it." Huasiqian nodded. After sending the doctor away, he came back and saw that Ali had woken up. "Boss, I'm sorry." Ali's voice was weak. "Don't apologize to me. I don't have such a stupid subordinate like you. When you get better, I'll give you some money and you can leave." "Boss, I don't want money. I just want to follow you. Your hand is already crippled. What can you do with me from now on?" Huasiqian looked at him indifferently. Don't say anything. I didn't expect you to be so impulsive after following me for 5 years. I'm very disappointed in you." Huasiqian turned around. He seemed to be in a bad mood. "Boss, I'll find a way to kidnap Miss Hua for you." Ali knew his boss's wish, so he tried to use this to atone for his sins. Upon hearing his words, Huasiqian turned around abruptly. "If you dare to touch me I'll chop you into minced meat." After speaking, Huasiqian was so angry that he turned around and went upstairs. "Brotherly, don't say any more. You should rest well. Boss has been in a bad mood recently. He hasn't been able to sleep well for a few days. If he could forcefully kidnap Huamin, then he wouldn't have spent so much effort all these years. Until now, Huasiqian had always believed that as long as he had the chance, he would fall in love with Huamian. He would make Huamian fall in love with him instead of forcing her to be with him. Qin Chu, you hurt my subordinate. That's a blatant provocation, isn't it? Very well, let's play slowly. Every dog has its day. Let's see who dies first. Huasiqian sneered and closed the door with a bang. Monday morning was a little busy. The twins followed Su Yu to the golf course. Qin Chu, on the other hand, was invited to a large-scale charity auction. Huamin came out of the company's morning meeting and heard Bella say that someone wanted to see her. She was wondering who would come to the company to see her. Then she saw a pretty figure walk into her office. Chapter 1878. Mian, long time no see. The girl who walked in had a faint smile on her face. Her youthfulness had faded away and was replaced by a graceful and mature beauty. Cici, when did you come back? Huamin was stunned. Nielingxi, the friend he hadn't seen in 3 years. She was the innocent and stubborn girl he knew. The girl that Eric loved to death back then. She had changed so much. Her long hair was now shoulder-length curly, and she even dyed it brown, making her look even fairer. I just got home yesterday. Cici smiled. Sit down, let me take a good look at you. Huamin's mood could only be described as joyful. Although he hadn't known Cici for long, Huamin was very good at reading people. He knew that although Cici had accidentally done something wrong, she definitely didn't do it on purpose. Others might think that she was naive or did it on purpose, but Huamin knew that she was just a stubborn girl who was obsessed with love. Back then she and Rick broke up painfully. When the twins were 1 month old, Huamin took the opportunity to talk to Rick about a lot of things, hoping that they could get back together. She thought that Rick would definitely go and find Cici. However, there was nothing else. Something happened to his family in the States. Rick sold Seductive Fox and left the city in a hurry, never to be heard from again. Cici waited for a long time. In the end, she gave up and went to Singapore to study. 3 years had passed, but Huamin still felt like it was just yesterday. Cici, how are you doing? Huamin asked. Pretty good, I learned a lot in Singapore and made a lot of new friends. Then, are you still in contact with Rick? Huamin asked tentatively. No. Cici's eyes were slightly disappointed when she heard Rick's name. Although it was only for a moment, Huamin still caught it. I heard that Mr. Qin is back? Cici asked with a smile. Yeah, he's back. Congratulations, you've finally met him. Cici was genuinely happy for Huamin. Thank you. I didn't expect that my persistence didn't go to waste in the end. Fortunately, I managed to wait. Cici, do you have a boyfriend now? Huamin had always felt that Cici cared a lot about her relationship with Rick. Therefore, he was worried that she might not be able to let go. No. But my parents are going to arrange a blind date for me. I'm not young anymore, so I might consider getting married if I meet someone suitable. Cici smiled bitterly. Then, have you tried to contact Rick? No, I've never looked for him. He's so powerful. It's easy for him to find me, but he hasn't contacted me in the past 3 years. Maybe he really has forgotten about me, hee. Something must have happened to the Rick family back then. He left in a hurry and didn't even say goodbye to me. We didn't know where he went either. I thought he would look for you. Huamin knew that although Rick was an introvert, he definitely had Cici in his heart. She didn't think that Rick would not contact Cici for 3 years. Things were still the same, but people had changed. I don't care what the reason was. Anyways, we missed each other. Mian, let's not talk about him. The twins are 3 years old now, right? Huamin nodded. They're 3 years old. They just had their 3rd birthday. Time flies. They're already 3 years old. Cici sighed softly. Alright, do you have a picture of them? Let me see if they've changed. Huamin immediately took out his phone and showed it to Cici. They look so much like Mr. Qin. Twins really do have powerful genes. Do you guys get it wrong all the time? Can you tell the difference between Little Bean and Pudding? Cici asked curiously as she looked at Huamin. Chapter 1879. Haha, of course. Pudding is a cold and aloof girl. She's always expressionless. Little Bean is a cute foodie. She's good at kissing ass, so you can tell from her expression. Huamin couldn't help but laugh. She couldn't help but complain when it came to the children. Okay, haha, your mom is a weirdo. Cece also couldn't help but laugh. Meanwhile, on the golf course, Su Yu and Tang Chuan had just finished playing golf. They were drinking in the lounge area with their two children. Look at you, why did you ask me to play golf? Why did you bring them along? What a waste of time. Tang Chuan complained. Are we wasting your time? Uncle Tang, you like to talk bad about people. Will your tongue rot? Little Bean was unhappy. No, Uncle Tang's tongue is very good. Tang Chuan purposely tried to make the twins angry. Little Bean, don't talk to him. Mommy said that people who aren't on the same level shouldn't talk to each other because they're not on the same frequency. He won't understand what you're saying. After all, not everyone is as smart as us. Pudding calmly drank her orange juice. She sat beside Su Yu like a proud little princess. See, little girl, are you saying that my brain isn't working well? Of course not. I didn't beat around the bush. I said it clearly. Ah, no wonder my sister said that your brain isn't working well. You need money to fix your IQ. Are you the stupid son of a landlord? Little Bean laughed hysterically. Tang Chuan almost spat out the mineral water in his mouth. Su Yu also laughed so hard that he almost peed his pants. Oh no, these two are so smart. Su Yu, I advise you to stay away from them. Don't get tricked by them. Of course not. Handsome Su is our idol. Little Bean immediately flattered him. Pudding didn't say anything. Instead, she picked up the orange juice she had drunk and handed it to Su Yu. Handsome Su, the orange juice today is pretty good. Do you want some? Okay. No one had the heart to reject Pudding's gentle side. He was too cute. Pudding, give Uncle Tang a sip, Tang Chuan said coquettishly. Sure. 1,000. Pudding reached out her hand. You still need money? Tang Chuan curled his lips. Of course. You're always freeloading. I'm not as generous as Handsome Su. I won't spoil you. Pudding looked at Tang Chuan calmly. I'm freeloading because Lord Su is rich, Tang Chuan quibbled. You make it sound like your family lacks money. Why didn't you think about our Handsome Su when you bought a Porsche for your sister? Uncle Tang, you won't have any friends if you behave like this. Little Bean said seriously. When I woke up this morning, I was wondering why my right eyelid was twitching like crazy. Sure enough, it's nothing good. You two little vixens are just trying to piss me off. You're neither old nor young. You're the one who's disrespectful. Little Bean retorted. So you hurry up and control them. I can't take it anymore. They're going to go to heaven. Su Yu, on the other hand, looked calm. Are you hungry? Do you want to eat something? Or do you want to play for a while? Su Yu looked at the two babies dotingly. Pudding gave Little Bean a look. Little Bean immediately stood up. Uncle Tang, hurry up and teach me your ultimate move. Everyone says you're good at golf. Oh, now you remember me? What did you two do to me just now? Tang Chuan said shamelessly. Don't whine. Are you really so bad at golf that you don't dare to show off your skills? Little Bean tried to goad him. Nonsense. Come follow me. I'll show you what an expert is. After speaking, Tang Chuan stood up and left. Little Bean followed him eagerly. Before leaving, she didn't forget to give Pudding an okay sign. After they left, Pudding glanced at Su Yu. Handsome Su, let's talk. Pudding's expression was adorable. Su Yu thought she was so cute that his heart almost melted. Chapter 1880. Sure. What do you want to talk about, Pudding? Su Yu picked up a bottle of water and drank from it. He was very interested in Pudding's words. Don't look at me like that. I'm serious. Pudding was a bit angry. Uncle Su is serious too. Su Yu smiled. Break up with Bimbo Jian as soon as possible. Ha. Why? Su Yu wasn't angry at all that Little Bean and Pudding gave Jian Tong a bad nickname. In fact, he even enjoyed it. After all, Su Yu wasn't stupid. He knew what kind of person Jian Tong was. Because we don't like her. Is that reason enough? Is there more? Su Yu asked with a smile. Great-grandpa Lord Su and Grandma Su don't like her either. The whole family doesn't like her, Pudding insisted. Is there more? Mommy doesn't like her either, Pudding said in a low voice. Mommy doesn't like her? How do you know? What did she say? Su Yu seemed interested in this question. She did. What did she say? Su Yu asked. Mommy said Bimbo Jian is too scheming and isn't suitable for you. Handsome Su, you're too good and perfect. Stop fooling me. Your mommy wouldn't say that about me. Su Yu rolled his eyes. It doesn't matter what mommy says. She really doesn't like that woman. You have to break up with her. Pudding, be good. I'm not going to marry her. Don't be so nervous. Of course I know you're not going to marry her. You're just upset because my daddy came back and you're worried that mommy will feel guilty. That's why you're looking for a scapegoat. Pudding analyzed calmly. Can you not be so smart? You're so direct and not giving me any face. I'm so embarrassed. Handsome Sue, listen to me. Break up with that woman. I'll introduce you to someone better, okay? Seeing that Sue didn't agree, Pudding changed her strategy and used both the carrot and the stick. Since the hard way didn't work, she started to act cute. Introduce me to someone better. Sue was speechless. Come here, I'll tell you secretly. Pudding hooked her finger mysteriously. Holding back his laughter, Sue leaned over and pretended to be serious. Let me tell you. You know how powerful our Chin family's genes are, right? My dad is a handsome guy, so Little Bean and I are pretty too. So? Sue asked. That's why the Chin family still has an unparalleled beauty who isn't married yet. She's especially suitable for you. Trust me, Pudding said with a straight face. You're not talking about Chin Ning, are you? You know my auntie? Pudding's eyes widened in surprise. No, the problem is that there are only a few people in the Chin family. Your aunt came back before. I think I've seen her before. That'll make things easier. Pudding smiled. The problem is she doesn't seem to be an adult yet. She's so young. Sue complained. Nonsense. Auntie is at least 24. 5 years old this year. I'll go back and ask my dad. No, Pudding, listen to me. Uncle Sue doesn't like your auntie. Don't try to pull strings, okay? Don't cause trouble for me. Isn't my auntie better than Bimbo Jian? Pudding wasn't happy. That's not what I meant. I just don't like this method. Plus, I'm free to make arrangements for Jian Tong. It's not what you think. Tell your mom not to worry about me and just be with your dad. Really, don't feel burdened. So, Handsome Sue, deep down you still love my mom, right? You can't let go of her. Whether it's Bimbo Jian or my auntie, they can't get into your heart, right? Pudding, this topic is too deep. Sue turned his head away awkwardly. Just tell me if you can give up on my mom? Pudding pressed. Chapter 1881. Pudding. Sue didn't expect to be stumped by a kid's question. He felt awkward. Is it hard to answer? Pudding looked at Sue innocently. It's not a hard question. I don't think you'll understand even if I tell you. How would I know if you don't tell me? Hey Pudding. Here's the thing. I really like your mommy, but she doesn't like me. I really want to give up on her, but relationships aren't that simple. People can't control their emotions. So, you asked me if I've given up on your mommy? I want to say that I want to give up on her, but I don't think I can. Sue felt much more relaxed after speaking his mind. Handsome Sue is a great man, but my mommy already has daddy. So she can't give Handsome Sue happiness. If only I could grow up quickly so that I could marry Handsome Sue. How old are you? Sue wanted to vomit blood. I know. I'm just making an example. If Handsome Sue can't forget my mommy, then he'll always like her. Even if he's single, I don't want to see you looking for cannon fodder. Okay, Uncle Sue understands what you mean. Will you break up with Jian Tong? Pudding asked. I'll definitely break up with her, but I'll put it on hold for now. We're not real, we're just acting. Pudding, don't take it so seriously, okay? Sue comforted. I hope you'll keep your word. As they talked, Tang Chuan and Little Bean came back. How did it go? Is Little Bean a fast learner? Sue asked Tang Chuan. I don't know if she's fast or not. But I know she cheated me out of a box of Haagen-Dazs. Tang Chuan pointed at Little Bean and the ice cream in her hand. How Little Bean is good at tricking people. It's your fault for being caught off guard. Sue laughed. Handsome Sue, are you complimenting me? Little Bean asked, blinking her big eyes. Of course it's a compliment. Sue caressed Little Bean's chubby face lovingly. Little Bean picked up a spoonful of ice cream and fed it to Sue. Try it, Handsome Sue. It's delicious. Before Sue could say anything, Tang Chuan interrupted. Your Handsome Sue is super rich. He doesn't care for ice cream. It's not like he hasn't eaten ice cream before. I've eaten ice cream before, but I've never eaten it for free. I've always thought that the best food is scammed. Then he opened his mouth and took a small bite, giving Little Bean face. How is it? Does it taste good? Little Bean asked expectantly. Sue nodded. Yes, it's delicious. It's free. It's really delicious. You guys are really in cahoots. Tang Chuan shouted. Sis, do you want a bite? Little Bean walked over. No, it's getting late. We should go back. Daddy said that we have art class at noon. Little Bean suggested. Pudding suggested that they leave and Little Bean nodded. Suyu immediately drove the two kids back. Chin Chu came back at noon as well. Daddy. The two kids saw Chin Chu and ran over. Suyu was a bit envious. It seemed that their biological father was still the closest. No amount of warmth and companionship could compare to family. Blood was thicker than water. Did you have fun today? Chin Chu asked gently, his eyes full of love. Yes, it was great. We like to play golf. It's good. Then I'll go back. Suyu said and turned to leave. Suyu, wait. I have something to talk to you about, Chin Chu said slowly. Suyu paused slightly. Then Chin Chu turned around and looked at the butler. Uncle Lee, can you send them in first? I have something to talk to President Su alone. Sir. The butler nodded and took the twins away. Before leaving, Little Bean said worriedly, Daddy, don't fight with handsome Su. You have to be good. Chapter 1882. Chin Chu was speechless. Suyu was speechless. Chin Chu and Suyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry at the kids' naivety. After the kids walked away, Suyu spoke first. Don't tell me you're also trying to persuade me to break up with Jian Tong. No? Mr. Chin was as calm as a machine. Then are you trying to persuade me to give up on Huamin? Suyu asked again. Not really, yeah, I guess I was wrong. Chin Chu glanced at Suyu and said calmly, what do you think about Hua Xiqian? Nothing. I don't want to talk to that bitch, Suyu cursed angrily. What? Did he do something to you again? Suyu felt that something was wrong. Why would Chin Chu talk about him out of nowhere? Yeah, I've already started a secret competition with him. He might use underhanded methods. You have to be careful, don't let him be your cannon fodder. No, he won't dare to touch me. Suyu was full of confidence. That's good. That's it? Suyu was a bit surprised. Yeah, alright then. As your former rival in love, I thought that you wanted to tell us something important. Suyu, thank you, Chin Chu suddenly said. Suyu was speechless. What are you thanking me for? Taking the twins to play golf? No, thank you for loving them so much. You can't replace the time I missed as a father. Don't say that. I'm not that great. I just like them. Really, I'm not as noble as you think I am. Suyu was a bit embarrassed. The Su family took in Mian and the kids, so the Chin family is indebted to them. I should have said it in person. Don't mention it. I didn't do it for you, Suyu said directly. I know you're doing this for Mian, Chin Chu said. It's no use, Mian is still, she only has you in her heart. Suyu smiled bitterly. Suyu, If there's anything you need, just say the word. The Chin family will do our best. I really don't have any. If there's anything in the future, you must let me know. Don't make it sound like we're friends. That would be even more awkward. We're love rivals. The whole world knows that I like Huamin. Aren't you jealous? I don't believe it. Suyu was not used to Chin Chu's humble attitude towards him. I'm jealous, but it's useless. Instead, I want to thank you for liking Mian. It's because of you that she's able to escape death time and time again. Compared to Mian's life, none of this is important. I just want her to live well, everything else is secondary. Chin Chu's simple words sounded casual, but they shocked Suyu. It turned out that Chin Chu loved Huamin so much. Compared to you, I'm really ashamed. Although I don't ask for Mian's gratitude, I've always wanted her to respond. You, on the other hand, just want her to live well. You're willing to sacrifice everything else. I'm really not as good as you are. Now I finally understand why Huamin loves you so much. Chin Chu didn't say anything. He just quietly looked at Suyu. Because you're worth it. Chin Chu, you're a real man. Suyu, am impressed by you. Suyu rarely admired a man like this, but Chin Chu's words really touched him. She's the only person I've ever wanted in my life. I insisted on marrying her when I was young. To me, it's already corroded my heart and bones. There's no cure for it, Chin Chu emphasized. I understand. Suyu nodded. The two men hadn't had a serious conversation like this in a long time. Inside the old castle, the twins' curiosity almost killed the cat. Sis, what do you think Daddy will say to Handsome Su? Will it stop us from seeing Handsome Su in the future? Little Bean was worried. Chapter 1883. No way, Daddy's not that low. Pudding said confidently. Don't make it sound like you know Daddy very well. Pudding was not convinced. When Chin Chu came back, Pudding immediately ran up to him. Daddy, did Pudding miss Daddy? No, Daddy, I want to ask you what you said to Handsome Sue, Chin Chu. Daddy, can you tell Mommy that you talked to Handsome Sue alone? Pudding asked. Chin Chu, babies, Daddy really didn't say anything to Uncle Sue. Don't overthink it. Of course you can tell Mommy it's okay. Chin Chu smiled helplessly. It was a headache to have two babies at home. Forget it, Daddy, if you said that, then you definitely didn't say anything to Handsome Sue. It's boring even if he knows. I'm going to take a nap. Pudding reacted quickly, no longer curious about the conversation between Chin Chu and Su Yu. Daddy, Pudding is going to sleep. You can tell me secretly. Pudding lowered her voice. Pudding, you need to take a nap too. Chin Chu held Pudding's chubby hand and walked upstairs. After taking care of the twins for a few days, Chin Chu understood one thing. Taking care of the kids wasn't easy. It was much more tiring than working. Most importantly, it was a waste of time and energy. Sir, there are so many nannies at home, you don't have to work so hard. You can do everything yourself. Uncle Lee felt bad for Chin Chu. I already missed 3 years of time with them. I don't want to miss out on the future. When the girls grow up and get married, I want to spend time with them and give them beautiful childhood memories. Mr. Chin, you're so thoughtful. Uncle Lee sighed. It's not hard for me, it's my wife. She went through so much alone, it's really hard for a little girl like her. Chin Chu always remembered that Huimin was only 28 years old and was already a mother of 2. Not many women could forgive themselves for not having their husbands by their side when they were pregnant and gave birth. However, Huimin had never complained about Chin Chu. This was something that many women could not do. Wei Liao once commented that Huimin's magnanimity was unparalleled. Huimin's intelligence and wisdom also depended on the person and the situation. No wonder Chin Chu, Su Yu and Hu Xiqin loved her so much. Who wouldn't like such a Huimin? Yes, Madam has it even harder. Uncle Lee sighed. Chin Chu was standing in front of the floor-to-ceiling window on the first floor, looking at the first snow outside. It wouldn't be long before he got rid of those scumbags one by one. He wanted to give Mian and his daughters a peaceful world. GK headquarters, President Hua, it's time to get off work. Bella walked in with a smile. Huimin nodded and stood up. On the way home, Huimin passed by a luxury shopping mall. She suddenly had the urge to buy Mr. Chin a belt. Today she accidentally overheard 2 elderly employees at the company say that giving a belt could tie her husband down so that he would never leave her again. The truth was, Huimin didn't believe in these things. However, she was really scared after being separated from Mr. Chin. It had been 11 years and she didn't even dare to think about how she had survived. She parked her car and went in to wander around. After walking around a few big-name stores, she suddenly heard a commotion. To her surprise, the voice sounded familiar. Don't push me too far. I'm telling you. Bitch, you can't live anymore, right? Seducing someone else's husband? Shameless, your husband doesn't want you so you seduced him. You fucking homewrecker, bitch. When Huimin walked over, she saw a few women fighting around a woman. And the battered and exhausted woman in the middle was actually. After seeing the woman's face, Huimin was shocked. What are you doing? Huimin immediately ran over to stop them. Chapter 1884. Huimin jogged over to help the woman in the middle up. It was Hui Yanyan, whom he hadn't seen in a long time. A few years had passed, but her appearance hadn't changed much. However, there was something more sophisticated in her eyes. Who are you? I'm telling you to mind your own business. We're teaching a lesson to a shameless mistress. A woman said arrogantly. Yanyan, what's going on? Huimin frowned slightly. I'm not a mistress. They're framing me. Hui Yanyan was in a mess. Her hair was messy and her collar was open. There were a lot of onlookers and it was indeed embarrassing. Huimin turned around and was about to speak to those people when he saw a woman with a pink Hermes bag standing at the edge of the crowd. That was Wei Ying, Wei Liao's biological sister. Wei Ying also saw Huimin. Surprised, she turned around and greeted her. Sister Huimin, why are you here? Because of Jiang Xiaowei, Wei Ying and Huimin had dined together a few times. Although they weren't very close, Wei Ying knew that Wei Ying and her sister-in-law were very close. Ying, what's going on? Huamin asked. This woman seduced my husband. Before Mingxi and I got married, she shamelessly chased after him. Now that she's married, she's still pestering my husband. What a bitch. I have to teach her a lesson. Wei Ying glared at Hui Yanyan and scolded her. Huamin tilted his head. Before he could speak, Hui Yanyan hurriedly explained, I didn't. It's just a misunderstanding. It's not what she said. Judging from Hui Yanyan's eyes, she didn't seem to be lying. Huamin had known Hui Yanyan for many years and knew her personality. He also knew that she couldn't hide things from him. Huamin thought for a moment and walked up to Wei Ying. Ying, since we're all acquaintances, don't make things so ugly. Let's just let it go today. After all, we're in public. Huamin tried to persuade her. Although Wei Ying was reluctant, she knew Huamin's identity and imagination. Since Sister Huamin said so, I'll give you face. But Hui Yanyan, if I find out that you're trying to get close to my husband, I'll tear your face apart, Wei Ying threatened. Then for the sake of Huamin, he finally decided to let Hui Yanyan go. Huamin took off his black windbreaker and put it on Hui Yanyan. Then he pulled her out of the mall and into a coffee shop. It took a while for Hui Yanyan to calm down. Huamin poured her a cup of hot water. Drink some water. Thank you. Hui Yanyan probably couldn't believe that Huamin was the one who helped her out every time she was in trouble. Wei Ying seems to hate you, Huamin said calmly. Hui Yanyan nodded. Because she knows that I used to chase after Shen Mingxi like crazy. But it's been so long. Why would she still give you a hard time? Have you been in contact with young Master Shen recently? Huamin probed. Hui Yanyan's expression changed. She slowly picked up the cup and took a sip of water. Then she slowly answered, yes. Huamin glanced at her but didn't say anything. Huamin, I'm divorced. Why? Huamin was shocked. She happened to see Hui Yanyan at her wedding and even gave her a red packet. At that time she thought that although the contractor looked a bit old, at least he was sincere to Hui Yanyan. Why did she divorce him after only 3 or 4 years? Because he had an affair. And he didn't repent. He didn't care about me and my daughter and gave all our money to that woman to buy clothes and makeup. He didn't even want to pay for my daughter's injection when she was sick, Hui Yanyan said bitterly. How long have you been divorced? Yanyan. Huamin sympathized with Hui Yanyan's situation. Chapter 1885. It's been more than a year since the divorce. Where are you living now? Huamin asked. I'm renting an apartment. You didn't split your assets after the divorce? Huamin was a little surprised. Hui Yanyan sneered. It's just a little money and he transferred it. The house is under his ex-wife's name. It has nothing to do with me. Then, what about the child support? The court ordered him to give us 1,500 yuan a month. But he only gave us 3 months. He said that he was bankrupt and had no money. He never gave us any more. Huamin's face darkened. He scolded. I didn't expect him to be such a scumbag. I didn't expect it either. I thought I found the right person. He didn't care about my past and wanted to live a good life with me. Who knew, maybe it's fate. So you're working now? Huamin saw that Hui Yanyan was wearing the uniform of a mall. Hui Yanyan nodded. I sell perfume in the mall just now. I get more than 3,000 yuan a month. It's enough for me and my daughter to get by. Then you and Shen Mingxi. Huamin paused. We just got in touch a while ago. You know, I'm not in the same circle as before. I can't get in touch with people like you. I got in touch with him a while ago when the Shin Group was developing women's skin care products and perfume. He came to check it out. He recognized me in the mall and said a few words to me. Then, a few days later, his assistant came to buy me a lot of perfume. I was confused too. Then he came to pick me up after work and asked me if I wanted to work in his company. Young Master Shin is a cold person. Huamin was implying that he didn't believe Hui Yanyan's words. Hui Yanyan understood and explained, actually, you're not the only one who didn't believe me. At first I didn't believe him either. I thought he mistook me for someone else, but, after thinking about it, maybe he was just feeling sorry for me. He probably knew about my current situation and sympathized with me, so he gave me food to eat. Then you're working under the Shin family now? No, I didn't. I knew Wei Ying wouldn't let me off the hook. I refused Shen Mingxi and didn't ask him for anything. After all, we're not in the same world anymore. If so, why did Wei Ying accuse you of seducing her husband? Huamin felt that there was more to the story between Hu Yanyan and young Master Shen. Once my daughter had a fever and I was taking her to the hospital on my scooter. On the way we got into a car accident and it happened to be his. I don't know why it was so coincidental. He saw that I was in a hurry and took my daughter and me to the hospital. I don't know which private investigator took a picture of it and sold it to Wei Ying. So that's how it is. Then between you and young Master Shen. Nothing. Nothing. Huamin, think about it. Before I fell from grace and was still the daughter of the Hu family, Shen Mingxi didn't even look at me. Now that I'm living like a dog, how could he? I won't flatter myself. After all, I've been through a lot and am not as stupid as I used to be. Huamin looked at Hu Yanyan. He had indeed changed a lot. There was a hint of maturity and melancholy between her eyebrows. I believe you. But if you continue to interact with young Master Shen, it won't do you any good. Wei Ying won't let you off the hook. I know. After a moment of silence, Hu Yanyan looked up and smiled. Let's talk about you. I heard you gave birth to twin girls. Is that true? Yeah. They're 3 years old now. Time flies. Your kids are 3 years old now. Huamin, have you visited Dad at the North Hill Cemetery? Hu Yanyan asked softly. Chapter 1886. No, to be honest, I almost forgot about him. It wasn't that Huamin was cold, but that Huamin and Hu Jinghai treated them terribly when he was alive. Even the occasional bit of warmth he showed was mixed with an element of exploitation. After Huamin found out that she wasn't a child of the Hu family, she became even colder and didn't seem to have any deep feelings towards the Hu family. I know you hate Dad because he didn't treat you well, right? Hu Yanyan looked up at Huamin. I don't really hate him, but I really don't feel anything anymore. I don't agree with what he did when he was alive, and he didn't affect me at all after he died, so I don't even know where to start. The most pitiful thing about Hu Jinghai was that the Hu family had so many children. In the end, Hu Yanyan was the only biological daughter he had. His beloved mistress had been having affairs with her husband behind his back all these years. Even his favorite youngest son wasn't his. His adopted son, who was so respectful to him, turned out to be an ambitious wolf. Hu Jinghai's ending was quite tragic. I miss Dad a lot, not only because he gave me such a luxurious life but also because he really loved me. It's too bad that I didn't even get to see him for the last time. I hate Hu Xiqian and I want revenge. Yanyan, do you hate me? No, I know that it was all Hu Xiqian's doing. Plus, you don't have a single cent of the Hu Corporation's shares, and Song Yisher's death a few years ago. He was the one who framed you. Yanyan, what do you know? Huamin was a little surprised. I don't know anything and I don't have any evidence, I'm just guessing. After all, Hu Xiqian is a big psycho. I don't believe that he's the loving Song Yisher that he pretends to be because the person he loves has always been you. After saying this, Hu Yanyan glanced at Huamin. Huamin's expression was very calm. What he feels for me is not love, but a perverted possessiveness. Can't be confused with love. After all, love is such a sacred word. Hu Yanyan nodded. Yes, being loved by someone like him is indeed a very scary thing. Compared to him, he must have done a lot of heinous things to get you and he never repents. Hu Xiqian is also my enemy. I hate him too. Huamin took a sip of coffee and said softly. But Yanyan, even if you want to take revenge, you can't be so unscrupulous. Remember your nature. I didn't think too much about it. I just wanted him to die, Hu Yanyan said hatefully. So you took the risk of being called a homewrecker by Wei Ying to get close to young Master Shen. You wanted him to discover the hatred in your heart and avenge you? Huamin knew what kind of person Huamin was. I didn't have any other choice. You did. You could have let you and your daughter live a peaceful life instead of dragging her into your affairs. I still want to take revenge on that heartless man. Anyway, Hu Xiqian and my scumbag ex-husband are my targets. Do you think it's fun? Yes, I'm happy to see their miserable endings. Seeing Hu Yanyan's determination, Huamin didn't want to persuade her anymore. He changed the topic and asked, Yanyan, have you been in contact with your mother and brother? Hu Yanyan froze and then shook her head in confusion. No, I haven't heard from them in years. I don't know how they're doing abroad. But with my mother around, my brother should be fine. Huamin carefully observed Hu Yanyan's expression and knew she wasn't lying, so he was relieved. Yanyan, do you want to work at my company? Huamin asked. Hu Yanyan's hand that was holding the cup suddenly paused. You're tuning in to the Biao's Wuxiao Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.